What'd you
Uh,
say?
Said, what is that hat?
Go.
oh,
Oh,
you got a
okay.
you got a Wem
Just say it look like
What's up,
goat.
brothers?
you got a Wemby hat. That's nice. That's cool.
Oh, okay.
Let me
Why
do a
don't you have
little.
one?
He's the
I
goat.
do.
The goat.
Do a little intro, since this is gonna be a separate video. Okay. What's up, y'all?
What's going on, Wimby?
That's not the button.
Great, great
That's what I
timing.
meant to do. That's what I meant to do.
That's
Alright.
Could not
perfect.
be worse. Fantastic.
3, 2, 1. Hey.
Wisecrackers. 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 Starting now.
What up, y'all? This is Let's Get Crackin'. I'm Lil Baby Jesus. We got Daniel over here. We got Rich Gang down here. And also with us is Big Rich, a.k.a. Res1. We're going to be talking about NBA contenders and pretenders. Which teams competing are for real and which ones are faking it. I guess we can start with the Bucks. Funny enough, I assumed, we'd talk about it in the group chats that everyone would call the Bucks pretenders. We had one person who was supposed to be here with us who said, "No, I think they're for real." I don't necessarily think they're for real, but I think they have a better chance. Like, they're the realest frauds out there. Let's just say that. Like, they shouldn't make it. They shouldn't get to the finals. They shouldn't win a championship, but they could. Out of all the fakers, they have the best chance.
Isn't that what's written on Doc Rivers' business card? The realest fraud out there.
That's where they get it from the top down, for sure.
Out of all the frauds, he has the best chance. It says that on the back side of the card.
That's how he got the job.
And then it says it's not Blake's fault.
It's everyone's fault.
Still with
Mine.
the Bucks, it's not Blake's fault.
Is there anything that really needs to be said about the Bucks? They've been underachieving ever since they got Doc.
Damian Lillard sucks. We all know that, though, so I don't really have to go in depth about
Yeah.
that. Obviously.
Okay.
The number one.
Damian Lillard is their only hope.
We got the number one Dame hater here. Him and who else, Rich?
Giannis, obviously.
Giannis, yeah.
Genius.
If they could put it together, I don't even know if they put it together if it's enough to beat anybody. I think it's really up to the Celtics whether or not they're frauds. I think that's really what it's going to come down to. If they don't have to face the Celtics, or if the Celtics do what they've done the past however many seasons, the Bucks could do it. But yeah, I mean, what are y'all's thoughts on that?
I feel like people get swayed by star power, and I've always been a big advocate of team over individual. And when I look at the Bucks, when they had Budenholzer, they had an identity. I knew who they were. I could buy into that. Right now, there's nothing there to buy into. It's just, can Giannis run through the paint enough without getting fouled out or injured? Can Damian Lillard put up 40 points at least? Am I going to get enough out of the bench? I don't see any defensive identity. I don't see any offensive schemes that worry me. I think if I was a coach and I had a good team, I'd be licking my lips at playing the Bucks right now. There's nothing there that obviously there is still talent there. I'm not saying that there isn't, and yeah, if they can put it together, but you can say that about everyone. If they can put it together, if you haven't put it together by this time, you haven't shown some kind of identity, some kind of culture at this point, I'm not going to believe you're going to make any real significant noise in the playoffs. It's just the way I kind of look at things.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I'm looking at the East standings right now, and the Bucks have the same record as the Knicks, which if you would have told me that at the beginning of the season, I would have laughed you out of the room for sure. But the Knicks
Of
made
what's
some...
left of the Knicks.
Oh, yeah, well, I guess because Julius Randle's out for the season, but they still made
The East is just kind of a joke this year. It's just very...
It's Celtics and everyone else. Yeah.
Pretty much.
Especially if you look at
Even
the
looking
record.
at the Celtics, though, do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like, it's the Celtics and everyone else, but I'm sort of
like how much of it is the fact that their schedule is heavy on the East, and how much of it is they're the best team.
Yeah, I was saying the Knicks made some great trade deadline moves to help their depth.
They did.
So I think that could come into play, especially in the playoffs. But as far as like the Bucks go, let's just pray for their sake that they don't match up with the Heat in the first round again. So
The Heat are interesting
Yeah.
too. I mean,
The Heat are
they're.
always interesting.
But I feel like
Heat
every.
culture's a real thing. Every playoffs, Heat culture's a real thing. I don't care what people say.
I feel like this year might be the last year. I know a lot of fans are saying that Mike Ryan of the Levitard Show, most of all, saying that they need to blow it up after this season, especially if Jimmy Butler kind of stays the same and doesn't turn it up. Then that's going to be it.
yeah, if you can't bail
Um,
him out again, it's yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I agree with that, and that's why, in terms of the teams that I'm looking at, I'm not. I looked at the Heat last year. The Heat were my dark horses last year. They served me well. The Sixers are giving me Heat vibes this year.
Yeah, they're healthy at the right time now too. Embiid's back.
Tyrese.
Tyrese is just crazy.
So
Oh my
is
gosh.
he a lock for most improved, or who else is out there?
People are
Good.
arguing Kobe White.
Yeah, I can
Kobe
see that too. But
yeah,
but-
yeah,
Ooh,
it's
that's
not a
good.
bad shout.
There's a conversation about MIP of how they were like, oh, I thought most improved was supposed to be like a player that averages like single digits per game and now averages close to 20 points per game. That's most improved. Instead, some people are like, I feel like it's become, oh, this guy averaged 18 or 19 and now he averaged 25 and he's an all-star. So he's most improved.
Yeah,
Like how John Morant won it that one year. Even though there were like
and
other
the way
players that were
people were
like,
pulling for SGA as well.
that's also true. So yeah, it's a very interesting conversation, but I think
I'm with
he's
you
locked
though.
up.
It should be an award for people who aren't in the running for other awards.
Yeah, like make it or
I
just do what the
agree.
NFL does and make it a comeback player of the year or something. I don't know.
yeah,
Something like
so
that.
right now it goes Tyrese Maxey, then Kobe White, then Jalen Williams, then Jonathan Kuminga is
J-Dub. Yeah.
the odds right now, the betting odds order. I think Tyrese, like the other players you mentioned, when it's like John Morant or whatever, people who are supposed to be all NBA level talent, like, yeah, that doesn't make sense. But coming in, I think people were like, no, you can't trade James Harden and just depend on Tyrese Maxey, because who is Tyrese Maxey? He's just a guy who gets some buckets sometimes. And he's shown that, like, no, he can carry a team for stretches and be the number one option and give you 50 on a random night. So he may be the exception to that rule, at least in my book, as somebody who deserves a most improved player. But yeah, the Sixers, I mean, going through the list of teams, like I would talk about the Knicks, but with their injuries, it's kind of like it's not even fair. With the Sixers, it's kind of the same thing as like, is Embiid going to be healthy? Like that's really the determining factor. Is he going to be MVP level or not? Yeah, are there any other teams in the East worth talking
Cavs,
about?
I think-
Cleveland Cavs, maybe. No, I don't know. I think it depends on their matchup. It depends on their first round matchup.
I think
I
Cavs.
don't like their.
Go
I
ahead.
don't like their balance.
I think the
Don't like it.
Cavs are more serious than years past, but it's still not enough to really call them contenders.
The beginning of the year, the Pacers looked so good.
Yeah.
And then eventually it just kind of just faded away.
Thing is, though, the Pacers have got no defense, and
Yeah,
you'll get
yeah.
found out in the playoffs when that happens. So, but going back to the Cavs, they still go as Donovan Mitchell goes. Mitchell's taking great strides to be part of an offense this year, and I applaud him for that. But at the same time, when the chips are down, the ball's going to be in his hands,
Right.
and everyone knows it. And with that being the case, that's a lot easier to defend.
Yep.
One-on-one basketball. Yeah, it's like the Pacers don't have a lot of defense, and the Magic have so much defense, but they're also on a 3-game losing streak, and were the 2 seed at one point, and could literally fall into the play-in, which is really sad. But
Yeah, the
The Magic are the biggest kind of unknown.
Yeah.
Because they have the talent, they play the right way to do well in the playoffs, but they're inexperienced. So you don't know what
Yeah.
you're going to get. They are over-reliant on Banchero as well, and we don't know what we're going to get from him. Again, he's kind of the perfect way to sum up the Magic. The talent's there, the potential's there, everything you could kind of possibly want is there. It's just, is it going to take that next step?
I
If
think
it does,
Franz Wagner too. Like, is he
I
gonna
love
also
Franz
step up?
Wagner.
I think
Yeah.
as far as
Shocker, Richie
Do-
likes a Euro.
This, as far as do we know what we're gonna get? I think this year we do. I think they're in the niche of that's usually every other season, kind of like the Kings last year, where it's like they're a good team. You wouldn't necessarily say they're overachieving, but they're still a one round. Maybe they get to the second round type of team.
And then that's it.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I
I
wouldn't.
feel like with the Kings, I never really bought in with the Kings because I don't think Sabonis is a center. I never have. To me, he's a power forward playing out of position, and I don't like Mike Brown as a coach. I think he's very predictable, and once he was working off that one idea of the pick and roll, and didn't really like when you get a play like Vezenkov. Venkov's averaging 5 points a game. That is disgusting. This
Compared
guy
to-
has got one of
yeah.
the sweetest jump shots you will ever see in your life. 5 points a game. It's not acceptable.
Not being
It's
utilized
just
well.
poor
for sure.
coaching. Yeah, it's poor coaching.
Who's the Magic's coach?
Jamal Mosley?
Yeah, Mosley.
This is his first team, right? Second team, maybe.
Yeah.
I think it's his first team, but he's been there for a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah.
First head coaching role.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think with that we can go to the West, and starting with
now it begins.
the Timberwolves. I think health is going to be the biggest thing as well. Like Cat's finally back. This is Anthony Edwards' time to really show us if he's going to be this could be the start of his Face of the League campaign. Let's just say that. As far as a team, I mean the defensive stats, as much as I want to say they're pretenders, the playoffs is more about defense than any other part of the season. They have what it takes. They have everything they need. They look exactly how they need to look. They check every box. I'm just not confident enough to call them contenders, though, even though they very well may be.
I think it's all going to come down to like what their matchup is, like who they're facing in the first round. I know it's kind of overstated in terms of like, oh, this year it's wide open, anyone could win it, but this is a pretty insane year in terms of a lot of teams, not just the Timberwolves, and this is the highest seed that they've been in a long time. So
Since Kevin Garnett won MVP.
yeah, the ticket,
The big ticket.
big
Yeah.
ticket. Sorry,
No, it's okay.
not just any ticket.
Not just any ticket.
No, thank you for clarifying. You know,
Does that make Wemby the golden ticket?
The golden.
The golden ticket, the extra, the triple XL ticket. I mean, the way bigger ticket.
the bigger ticket. Yeah.
Yeah, for the Timberwolves, like you said, Cat's finally back, but I have to agree with Rich. Like a fun first round matchup. If the playoffs ended today, and I guess there wasn't a play-in, it would be Minnesota versus Phoenix right now. Phoenix would be very top heavy in that, but Minnesota's number one key difference this year than last year is they finally figured out like their team defense and their team defensive identity. Obviously led by Rudy Gobert, who is most likely going to win Defensive Player of the Year, even though I think it should be Wemby. But I think when you help your team not only develop a defensive identity and you're still the same DPOY that you used to be, I think that's going to be the key indicator, especially in the playoffs. So it's like I'm in the middle between pretender and contender. Like I could see them making a deep run, but I could also see him getting bounced out early. That's why Anthony Edwards has to be the one to like shut the critics up, and he's been doing a good job of that so far. But yeah,
Timberwolves Lakers first round would be really cool.
oh man, don't even now.
Hmm.
I think that might be better than Phoenix, dare I say. I don't know. Especially on Twitter.
Both would be interesting.
After the Timberwolves, we have the Thunder. They're kind of in the same boat as the Timberwolves, except I have them underneath them as far as defensively and obviously experience, them being one of the youngest teams in the league. Even if the Timberwolves team themselves aren't experienced, Gobert has that experience, and that means a lot, especially being your anchor. I definitely think they get out of the first round, but I'd be surprised if they make the conference finals. So I guess you could call them a pretender if that's your standard of what a pretender is. What do y'all think?
Probably have to agree. I think the most important thing is the lack of experience and the age on the team combined. I think there was a stat, I forgot, I think it was North Carolina's starting lineup was like literally the same age as OKC's starting lineup. Yeah, that's just insane. But kudos to them for playing at a high level all season, regardless of their lack of experience. I know they got Gordon Hayward off the bench, is a good veteran leader off the bench. Let's just put it like this: whoever comes out of that Clippers Maverick series, I don't see them beating either in a 7-game series. I don't know. That's just me. Oh, did I cut out?
You cut out, but we heard it.
I think it's all going to come down to where teams land. I think more than ever, like having the number 1 seed, the number 2 seed, the number 3 seed. I think the matchups are going to make more of a difference in the West than we've seen in a long, long time. And I think it's to do with the way the eras are changing. Because if you look at the teams that are down there, okay, the Kings are down there because of poor coaching. We've kind of established that. The Lakers and the Warriors are down there because they're coming to the end of their runs. As much as people have bagged on the Warriors this year, and that playoff experience matters. And if they're ready to go, I would not want to face them in the first round. I don't care who it is. I would not want any part of them in the first round. The Lakers, it's all about the matchup.
Mm-hmm.
All about the matchup. Can you quiet? Because it's not about stopping LeBron. It's about stopping an AD. If you've got big men you can throw at AD, you'll stop the Lakers. And people talking, oh, well, Austin Reeves, Austin Reeves has been a non-factor since the refs have been allowed to stop calling soft fouls. Like, since he's stopped being able to just jump into people to get free free throws, he's not doing anything. So, like, I just look at the Lakers and I just think this could be it. This could be the end. This could be like a first round exit for the Lakers if they come up against the wrong team, and that's it. LeBron's gone then. Like, I think he's gone anyway potentially, but that would put the nail in the coffin. And whoever gets Bronny gets LeBron. But
Yeah.
not to talk too much about LeBron. It's the Warriors that I'm focused on. They've got championship pedigree. They've won in recent years. They've still got a player who can make a huge difference and win you the game, win you a series in Steph Curry. Draymond might not be what he once was, but he's still one of the best defensive players in the NBA. Jekyll and Hyde with Klay Thompson, you don't know who or what's going to turn up. And some of those young players like Trace Jackson Davis and Podziemski and stuff like that, they can make a bit of noise as well. And I think people are sleeping on them a little bit. I really do. I think you got to. Oh, here he goes.
I was like, where did he go? I was thinking.
You've got to respect.
He had to get that hat because Steph Curry's not the GOAT, so he had to make sure that he has a hat that reflects the Warriors.
I thought 2 things were happening. I thought you left the room to cry about how your legacy might end this postseason.
Your legacy.
Or your legacy. Or if you make it out of the play-in and upset, like, let's say the Thunder in the first round or something, that would be crazy and would keep it going for sure.
Right.
You'd probably
It
have
seems
like
you grabbed the hat.
you'd have like a Lakers run last year where you get to the conference finals and then lose to whatever team is the real contender, which would still be really cool. Which would be
It would
great.
be really cool. I would love it. I think when it comes to playoffs down the stretch at the end of a series, when it goes long, 6 or 7 series, honestly, I really think it just. I mean, say what you want about team basketball and whatnot. In the end, especially Game 7, if it comes to that, it always comes down to who the best player is in the series. And I mean, if we make it to the 8th seed and we go against the Thunder, I really like Steph's odds this year. I can tell that he is getting older. He's admitted that in post games and interviews and whatnot. But Rich knows this because he's brought it up before. Steph has been clutch this year. He's been big. And it's all going to come down to, can Andrew Wiggins not be a fucking bum and play basketball? And if you can, and Kuminga's there, and Steve Kerr also isn't an idiot and gives Trace Jackson Davis minutes, who is a real he's a big body. He can. I feel like he can learn on the fly. Like my hope is that we stay in that fighting game. We don't let the Thunder like put us down 2-0, because if that happens, I think they win the series. But if we just go back and forth and we give up the fighting chance and we can take it to 6 or 7, I think we can actually beat the Thunder. But that's
you just need 15 points from Wiggins. You don't need the world from him. If you can give you 15 points on a regular basis and some good defense, you've got enough squad depth to be able to, win series. I don't think you need him to be Andrew Wiggins of old.
The thing with Steph Curry being clutch, that's obviously going to be the biggest factor. And the other one is going to be if Clay can turn back the clock, which he's done at times in the season, but for the most part can't do consistently. But I do want to say this has been Curry's clutchest year, but lately, these last however many games, when it comes to like, oh, I need Curry to hit this shot, it hasn't been happening. So he may have used it up already. I don't know. We got to see.
It depends. It depends.
But
if they play the Lakers, though, they're fine because But yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. Who do you think LeBron wants to see more, the Warriors or the Kings in the play-in?
Us.
Oh, the Kings. The Kings
the
for
Kings.
sure.
Well, they would have a
100%
better
the
chance
Kings.
for sure if it was the Kings.
AD could.
If we go
could
against the
bully
Lakers, we're fucked.
Sabonis. He could do. I'm not saying he will do, but he could do.
Yeah, he could. Yeah, because for the Warriors, if it ended today, you'd have to go to Sacramento and win, which, as Rich stated, I feel like coaching matchup goes to the Warriors there. And I feel like Curry more clutch than, even though De'Aaron Fox, if I'm not mistaken, did he win Clutch Player of the Year last year? Mr.
He
Fourth
did,
Quarter?
but
Yes, he did.
I saw him
Curry
play
had
last
a-
night. I saw
Curry had a
De'Aaron
pretty
Fox.
nice 50 burger last year in Game 7 on the.
Yeah, De'Aaron Fox, Kings Suns last night, closing minutes. Kings have like 7-point lead. Every single one of the possessions down the stretch, Fox Sabonis pick and roll, Fox miss mid-range jumper. That happened 3 times in a row.
This is exactly what I was saying.
Did not
This
adjust.
is exactly what I was saying. Mike
Suns came
Brown
back
has
and
got
won.
away with it. He can't keep getting away with this.
Yeah, exactly. You can't do it. So
For the Clutch Player of the Year odds right now, it's between DeRozan and Curry. DeRozan is -145. Curry is +110. So
it's DeRozan then.
DeRozan's the whole
unless
reason why the
Curry-
Bulls are in the play.
Again, we were talking about this in we done with the 90s mid-range killers. DeMar DeRozan's
those
a
two.
mid-range killer.
Those two. Yeah.
oh yeah, you got anything to add?
No, I was just gonna say, if we're move off of the Warriors for a little bit, we haven't talked about the team that won the title last year.
Well, I think I was kind of staying away from them because if you think they're pretenders, you just don't know basketball.
Well, I don't think that, but someone might think that.
Oh,
Jace? Who?
Jays.
does Jace think the Nuggets are pretenders?
No, I didn't say Jace. I'm not saying Jace.
No,
I'm
you're
saying
just-
someone in the group thinks that.
Richie? Is it this guy? This guy down here? The Warriors fan?
Sure
No,
as shit
no.
isn't me.
But yeah, who's left? I mean, we covered the Lakers, Warriors, covered the top 2 and the bottom 2. Kings obviously
mean,
are nothing.
Quick
Clippers,
rundown.
Mavs, right?
Under remains to be seen. Timberwolves depends on matchup. Nuggets absolutely.
Nuggets.
Mavericks can beat anyone on their day, but over a 7-game series, I'm not 100% sure. Thing is though, when you've got a 1-2 punch like Luka and Kyrie, and they've made some really good. And we talked about this when the free agency came around. A lot of people, including myself, really liked what the Mavs did for once, for a change.
Mm-hmm.
Adam Gafford was huge. PJ Washington's a nice addition, and they've really worked it out with Kyrie and Luka. There's a definite bond between those two now, and when you've got that, and when you've got people buying in, and you've got people understanding that Luka is a leader and he's acting like a leader and he's getting a response from his team. I'm not ready to write them off. Pelicans, I'll write them off all day. Suns, I'll write them off hesitantly just because they've still got KD, but I just don't like the way they play basketball. I don't think it's winning basketball.
Suns and Pelicans are second round exits, and most likely. And then as far as the Lakers and Warriors, we kind of touched on them. Lakers are fraudulent. Warriors, less fraudulent, have a chance to get to the conference finals if everything goes their way.
The Warriors are a bit like a punch-drunk boxer. They might have one more fight left in them. Do you know what I mean? Might have one more title run left. But at the end of the day, I think they should have blown it up last year. I said the same. For the beginning of this season, I think the Lakers should have traded LeBron when they had the chance. They're going to lose him for nothing.
It's funny when you say blow it up. Usually that means you get rid of the biggest pieces and get ready for the rebuild. But with the Warriors, they have all these young pieces that they should have cashed in on and got something with, even if it's like a DeMar DeRozan or a Zach LaVine. Like, that's not what you want.
They should have gone all in. And
they had to do one of two things. Either go all in or accept where they are and build for the future. And when Curry was there, it was always going to be go all in.
I mean, the Clippers, Daniel, did you have anything to say on the Clippers or the Mavs? Or
Yeah, I was saying, I know the Clippers have looked like pretenders because, Charles Barkley said the other night, he's like, I don't know what Clippers team we're going to get, especially if, I know they have Harden, they have Westbrook off the bench, and then you have Kawhi and Paul George, two gamers, especially Kawhi, finally healthy, finally played most of the regular season since he was on the Spurs, believe it or not. I know the Raptors year was special, but he missed some time during that regular season as well. But I said it before. Whoever comes out of that first round series, I think they have a good chance of making the conference finals. For NBA finals, though, if they have to play the Nuggets in the conference finals, obviously I'm not going to like their odds. It's just because the Nuggets have proven that they could do it.
The Clippers have, you always count them out because they're the Clippers, but they were able to get to the conference finals with just Paul George. So now if Paul George or Kawhi goes down, as long as it's not both of them, they do have enough to make it to the conference finals again. It's just, will they be able to do that? I think if they're all healthy, they might be a lock for the conference finals if they can avoid the Nuggets somehow.
There was because last year they matched up against the Suns in the first round, took game one on the road. Kawhi had a crazy game. And then all of a sudden it was like, hey, Kawhi's out for the rest of the series.
Yeah.
Like I said, it depends
on
there
was like family issues, right? So there was like a whole bunch of stuff going on.
That too. I think it was just a mixture of bad stuff for him and his family. So
I mean, on paper the Clippers should win it all, but they're the Clippers. So
unless they show
keep
us
coming
otherwise.
back to it. To me, Kawhi Leonard's the best playoff performer I've seen in the last 10, 20 years. Aside from probably Jokic last year, which was phenomenal. And still doesn't get talked about nearly enough.
Basically, it's Nuggets we have the Nuggets as a lock for the finals pretty much, barring catastrophe. And on the East, it's all depending on the Celtics' fraudulent status or not. Yeah, anything to add? Anything to close with?
I want to know what your finals predictions are. Early doors. Obviously, you can change them when we get to the next segment, but I want to get a lay of the land.
I got Nuggets Celtics. Nuggets winning in 6.
I have
the safe pick. He's gone for the bookies' favorite.
Well, I have the same exact pick, except I actually have Celtics in 6. So.
Wow.
But like I said, next Saturday, if we do the show and the playoffs start, I think we'll have a better, clearer picture with the matchups and whatnot. But for now, that's my pick.
So Richie, who are the Warriors going to beat in the final?
I'll be different than both of y'all. I'll say Sixers Nuggets, and
not bad.
Sixers.
Not bad.
I'll shoot my shot, and I'm gonna say Sixers in 7.
I think other than that's ideal so far. That's the best case scenario so far, story wise.
That would be my favorite matchup in the finals this year: Embiid versus Jokic. All things considered, if it all goes well, but I mean,
Narratives could be changed. Maybe.
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 Yeah.
Probably
This
not.
could be-
mean-
Jokic probably win the MVP this year. So
Yeah.
I was going to say you're not going to be the only one who says that because, as I say, the Sixers are my dark horses, so I'm picking Sixers Nuggets, but I'm picking the
Oh,
Nuggets to win it,
How many games?
6 or 7.
That would be a deep series.
Yeah, I definitely want to see the Sixers over the Celtics just because to me the Celtics, like, you missed your chance. Like, even though you have everything prepped,
Don't have to coach him.
you
You
somehow
have-
got Drew Holiday and Kristaps on your team, and we still somehow don't trust you. You know.
they should have
I
won a
feel-
ring by now.
If they
Yeah.
don't make it, if they don't even make it to the Eastern Conference Final, or if they just don't make it
Joe
to the
Mazzulla's fired?
finals, if they don't win the chip this year, I feel like we could have an entire segment about the Celtics.
Yeah.
I think what Dan was saying there is if they don't make it to the finals, Joe Mazzulla should be fired, and I absolutely agree with him.
Yeah, because last year was like, I feel like people are being a little harsh because they came back from 0-3. But this year, I don't think you have any excuses, you know?
No, I was saying there, on paper, it should be a Celtics Clippers final.
On paper. I guess in terms of talent, yeah.
I think even if there's injuries for the Celtics, I think he still has to go. Even if he has that excuse of like, no, Kristaps was hurt. It's like, well, I don't
You
care. You're
Two
gone.
All-Stars on your team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
We
how
were
much
talking about this though. Like your team is a reflection of you. I don't see any identity in this team that Mazzulla brings. And if you listen to him, like the Knicks just beat them, and the first thing he said was, "Oh well, it doesn't matter. We weren't trying, and
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, because they're locked.
he's doing
what they were desperate and it's pathetic." And
He's
that kind of
lack of
mentality is what will
competitiveness.
find you out.
He's doing this thing where he's like, "Oh yeah, no, this is what we wanted. I actually threw this match as a competitive scenario because it's like a real game simulation." And it's like you've had all the training. Your team's been doing this for like 7 years now. Like, you should have at least one more finals appearance, probably a chip. Like, even if you've just been there for a year or two, like, the team has had more than enough time, and all they can do is run it back. You can't really do anything else unless you blow it up, and I don't see that happening. So
we were saying as well. I was talking to Cap, and the two things I look for that are huge for me is how do you start games and how do you finish games, and that's where the Celtics struggle the most. Like they can come out and absolutely blow you away from like the second period and the third period usually. Just
They
by
choked so many
like
leads.
wearing you. That's what I mean. Like they come out flat against big opposition. They did it against the Lakers in Boston, which is unforgivable. How can you be flat
without
for a
LeBron
league
and without AD?
Celtics game?
Yeah.
Yeah. How can you possibly? And they lost that game, and they deserve to lose that game. And this is it. It comes back to coaching for me. It's a poor mentality. If you're coming out against your biggest rivals, one of the biggest rivals in sport, and you're not ready for that game, that's down to the coach. Simple as that.
I think that's going to do it, y'all. Appreciate you watching. I'm LBJ. We got Daniel here, Rich Gang, and Big Rich here. We will see y'all later. Peace.
Peace.